Phil and Will are back, and Survivor Season 32 is finally underway. We have officially lost Darnell, the glue of the season, the postal worker, my man who was going to hold that Brawn tribe together. He was going to be the key to the entire thing. He's the first person booted from this game. Off to a pretty cool start, though, overall for Season 32. Will, what do you think?
Well, there is no glue now. The season had glue. Darnell was the glue, and the glue, everything's falling apart. And I think this is the kind of season we're getting, and I'm happy about it because you can tell right away just from this first episode, this is a just backward season. Mm-hmm. It's so different from Cambodia. I think you look at a season, really heavy strategy, big legend names, returning players like Savage and Cass and Spencer and all that, and you have this really great season. So, Jeff even said it's a top 5 season. So I think having this season come after and having it be so different, I think that works well. Because if you come back with kind of a mediocre strategy season, it just won't hold up. This is a different season. This is like a Gabon. Lots of big characters. I was telling you before we started here, I think we should just go character by character and kind of say what we think, what they did. So we have 90 minutes to get through. I think that'll probably be the best way.
We got a lot from everybody. I mean, I know obviously some people got more screen time than others. It always happens. But even like the people like Julia, I think she only had one confessional, but like we know where Julia stands on her tribe. Like we got enough from Julia that like I could still see her going very deep in this game. I'm loving the huge characters. I think the big characters, the Ty, the Anna, like this is really cool. To me, and I'll stay on Darnell for just a bit here since he's our first guy gone. We can talk about him a little bit, I guess, to start. Darnell didn't feel like a Survivor player. And I'm kind of it felt weird to me that he got voted off here because they showed him taking the poop in the water. And I figured, he's going to be this goofy character the whole season, kind of exactly what I expected him to be. He loses the goggles. He's just messing up left and right, but they kind of like him, so they keep him around. And Alicia had a perfect storyline to just go home as the first boot. Any other season, Alicia would have been edited as the first boot, and she would have been gone as the first boot. Here, it was edited very strange to me. And Darnell goes home. He didn't feel like a Survivor player, and I don't feel like I really got much from him. I'm not mad about it, but it surprised me. It really did surprise me that it was him and not Alicia.
Yeah, it surprised me too, and that's why I'm such a big fan of it. Like, the editing this episode was on point. They did have 90 minutes to work with, so we, like you said, we got a taste of everybody. We know these tribes pretty well, and these 3 tribe seasons, or when, like in Cambodia last season, when they got to 3 tribes, we usually kind of don't know exactly what's going on in the tribes. I mean, we have a very, very good idea, and we'll kind of break it down. But I was going and going, all right, Alicia's gone. I mean, a guy drops the mask. That is a mistake. Mistakes happen. Alicia, she was kind of overall weak. She wasn't doing work at camp, wasn't really pitching in the challenge. She comes up with a lie about having an idol. I mean, there were just – the reasons were stacked
After they said don't lie. After they literally told her not to lie. And I thought Scott Pollard was going to lose his crap there. I thought he was done. And what makes no sense to me is Alicia's bad around camp. She's not good at the puzzle. She's weak when it comes to everything else. She wasn't paddling, all of that. Darnell lost the goggles. Which one do you think is going to come up again more like next? Which one do you think is going to come up quicker? A goggle challenge where you actually put the goggles on Darnell's head, or camp life, paddling, physical challenge, puzzle? That's 4 things.
And
Darnell losing goggles. And lying. That's like how Alicia survived this episode. Good for Alicia. I hope Alicia's great because I don't think Braun's going to lose again for a while. Even though we said we didn't think Braun was going to lose at all here. Because, the Brawn tribe, how did they lose first? They almost still came back and won that challenge. It looked like they were down to 1 puzzle piece. And they were seriously behind by a good 10 minutes because Darnell lost that mask.
Yeah, I totally agree. Couldn't agree more. If I'm out there, I'm going, guys, we got to keep Darnell. Get rid of Alicia. I know Darnell was on your fantasy team, so you're already down a player. You do get the bonus points for having the first boot.
My fantasy team. So I get – yes, man.
Yeah, I did say in our last podcast that Alicia was my winner pick, but I changed that on Twitter 2 nights ago. I was thinking about it. It was such a bad pick. Huh? Yeah, I mean, she's still in. She's at least still in the game. But Anna is my winner pick, and that's not after seeing tonight's episode. That's before. She's a bipartisan libertarian. and I'm totally in line with that. So that really swayed me to roll with Anna here. And she had a good episode tonight, so I am happy with Anna.
I like our reasonings for voting for people, or for like rooting for people. I got my winner pick as the girl from New Jersey. You got the winner pick as the bipartisan libertarian.
She's my girl.
There you go, man. Hey, more power to you. Yeah, so I'm really surprised Alicia's still here. I would like Alicia to have a little bit of like an Eliza type underdog story here, where she comes, not that she's as annoying as Eliza, but where she comes out of nowhere and kind of screws these people over a little bit later down the line, because honestly, this is a huge mistake. I think this is a huge mistake. Not saying I wanted Alicia to go. I just think this is a huge mistake.
I wanted Alicia to go because that's what I predicted to happen. So I kind of wanted to be like, oh, I know how to watch Survivor. I was completely wrong. The tie, I mean, getting a tie in the first boot, that's pretty rare. That's awesome.
I think that's first time ever.
I think it is the first time ever.
The only other tribe I think that's ever had it happen was that tribe in Africa when it was tied between Carl and was it Lindsay? I think it was Carl and Lindsay, and Carl ended up going home, but that was the third tribal council of the season.
Right. I mean, and the good part about this is now Alicia is going back to camp with two people that voted for her. So there's still a lot brewing. Let's just go tribe by tribe here. Let's talk about the Brawn tribe since we're already on them. Darnell goes home. We didn't see a ton of Darnell, but I like I said, I kind of like that because it wasn't obvious that he was going home. I was kind of shocked when it ended up being him. I don't know exactly who flipped. Did you pick up who originally voted Alicia and then switched to Darnell?
I didn't notice because they only show the one voting thing in the
right
on CBS. They only show the one. But I didn't notice who flipped.
My feeling it was Kyle. That was my immediate gut.
I think Kyle wanted Darnell gone the whole time, and I think Kyle pulled the strings on that. I think Kyle was the reason Darnell went home. I think Scott was ready to vote out Alicia. I know Jennifer was ready to vote out Alicia. And I know Sydney was ready to vote out Alicia. And I think Kyle pulled the strings on this. Sydney said she didn't want to vote Darnell out.
Yeah, I think Kyle pulled Scott out. That's probably what happened.
And I think Scott and Kyle are the power players on that tribe. I think Jennifer's going to kind of follow. I think Sydney put herself in kind of a bad position by siding with Darnell, or at least trying to fight for Darnell a little bit. And Alicia, I think she's going to be the next boot if they go again. Like, I think that she's an easy next boot because I think the other four get along well enough.
Yeah, let's talk about Alicia here. I was surprised because I thought she was going to be this tough, lippy girl, and she was kind of this
timid
behind the scene. Yeah, very timid, seemed pretty strategic. I mean, lying about an idol, yeah, that's not the best move, but at least she thought to do that. Even if that idea comes across your mind, it means your head is in the game. That's not how I thought of her at all. So, yeah, terrible lie, but at least you're on the right track. You're actually trying to play the game of Survivor. And then we have Sydney. Sydney seemed kind of exactly.
Stay on Alicia. I got to say something about this. This is editing, and I want to see if you picked up on this because I'm pretty sure everybody's watched the first 5 minutes twice now. If you're a huge fan, if you're watching our podcast, you probably watched the first 5 minutes twice. Did you notice that I think it was Kyle giving the confessional, and he's like, "I got all these strong people. I gotta do whatever." It might have been Scott. I got to do whatever I got to do, and then we weed out the weak, and they cut immediately to Alicia sitting there on the boat when he said, we got to get rid of the weak. And I was like, man, and now the way this whole episode is going as Alicia being the weak one, she's gone, and the editors foreshadowed it in the first 5 minutes of the show. And then when she didn't go, I was like, wow, that's kind of cool, because that would have been like a cool little payoff, but it would have been obvious.
Right, there's that, and then there's also Alicia trying to write Darnell's name down with the pen cap still on the pen. And it actually made a few marks. I was like, wow, the pen is broken. And then she hadn't taken the cap off. That was another like dodo moment. This chick doesn't know what she's doing. Time for her to go home. And then again, it flips it. No, Darnell's going. So she's still around. I don't think Alicia is going to make this a comeback. I mean, we can talk about it. It doesn't seem likely.
Yeah, here's the thing with Alicia. I really don't think Braun's going to lose again for a while. I really don't. And I think we'll get into the dynamics a little bit more, but I think Darnell would hang out with Kyle and be friendly with Kyle, even after Kyle makes that comment as soon as they get the tribal about there's only some people or, whatever he said. I think Darnell would have gotten over that. I don't think Alicia gets over that type of thing. I think Alicia's the type who holds that against you for the entire game, and the moment that she can get rid of you, she's going to get rid of you. So if she ever gets in a position where she can get numbers, she's going to be set. Although I feel like she's going to be more of the Alina, Kelly Goldsmith, kind of floating, somehow makes it near the merge, makes it to the merge, and then just gets booted because nobody else on her tribe liked him.
Yeah, I can see that. And if they do lose, I agree with you. I think she's totally next. I don't think she can flip it on Sydney just because Sydney, because
I think they like Sydney.
Right, and you got to look at it. It wasn't a Darnell vote off. I mean, they had to re-vote. So 3 people did want, Alicia to go at one point.
And what do you think? Why do you think that it was split up 3-3?
Honestly, I think it has a lot to do with Kyle Jason. Jeff calls him Jason, but I think his first name's Kyle.
But he calls himself Sarge Jason. I don't know what it is. He's just the bearded God's bod. That's all he is.
Bearded God. I think he was making alliances with everybody, and it seemed at times he was saying 100% Alicia and then 100% Darnell, depending on who he was talking to. And I think once one person is doing that with several people, then you have other people going, and it just kind of creates a chain reaction where it's like, okay, eventually it's just going to be 3-3 because it was just 50-50 6 times, really. At least that's what it seemed like. I mean, obviously Darnell and Alicia weren't going to vote themselves out, so that was settled. Sydney was squarely with Darnell. I couldn't tell who was really with Alicia. I mean, maybe
it seemed like Kyle and Scott wanted to vote. It seemed like Kyle and Scott wanted to vote off Darnell. And then Jennifer, when Darnell broke down, Jennifer was like, "Oh, I don't want to do this." So she flipped over, trying to see if she could get them to flip. When she realized they couldn't flip, I think that's why she voted Darnell. I think that's what ended up happening.
Yeah, that makes sense. Once he was saying his sob story and stuff, I thought he lost.
I was like, wow, he saved himself. That was fantastic. Well done, Darnell. I mean, I feel bad for him. I mean, he took it like a champ afterwards. Like his last words were fine. But I honestly think that he's going to be one of the most forgettable first boots ever. I honestly do. I got nothing from him tonight.
Yeah, you had the water poop, and
that's it.
That's about it. I think. I mean, he did get his life story out. We heard Chicago, I think, 3 times. So you at least knew where he was from and everything. I don't feel slighted that we didn't get enough Darnell.
No, I'm just saying. I feel like he's going to be forgettable. I feel like everybody got so much of a storyline this episode that when you're the boot in that type of episode, you're just overshadowed by how much else was going on, and you're going to be forgotten because this is a big character cast. There's a lot of characters on this season. I don't think anybody's going to fall to the side. Yeah,
let's get to some of these other characters on Brawn. What do we think of Scott Pollard? Because I'm a huge fan.
I did not like him pregame. I thought that he was kind of boring. Not that I really had a problem. I don't mind sports players playing, anything like that. I thought he was great. He's so even-keeled, it seems like, and it seems like everybody thinks that he's funny and gets along with him. I really do think that – I think that he can go really far in this if he ends up in the right alliance.
Right. It seems like he's got the power on his tribe. Seems everyone likes him. And I think coming out and saying, look, I'm an NBA player. I made a lot of money, but I'm playing Survivor. I like the game. I like the competition, like the outdoors, the adventure, blah, blah, blah. Take me to the end. You won't be able – or I won't beat you. I won't get any votes. I think people are like, okay, at least he's showing his cards. You have people like Gary Hogaboom where they hide it and then it might come back to bite them. I think I don't know. We haven't really seen this before. I mean, Jeff Kent tried to hide it. Jimmy
Cliff
Johnson.
Robinson kind of came right out.
Yeah, that's true.
They called him on it right away, and he kind of was just like, yeah, I am. I mean, it's hard to hide when you're 7 foot or taller.
But yeah, I mean, Cliff, though, I think Wu said it, and he kind of said, yeah, I am. They went around a circle. Scott said, yeah, NBA player. No one recognized him, and then he had to, say, yeah, you caught me. This was like, I'm going to come out and say it. So I think we haven't exactly seen that before. It seems like it's working. Obviously, we're only at 1 episode in. I like what we're seeing from Scott. Let's just finish up with the males here. Kyle Jason, he said
might win the game, dude.
He might. He's number 1 in your boot list, right? But he's not your winner pick?
He's number 2 my boot list because I didn't think he'd get the votes if he made it to the end. I have Michelle beating him in both winner pick and in this. Man, he's Russell, but he is so nice to people. That's the difference. He knows how to talk to people. He's Russell, but he knows how to be condescending in a good way. It seemed like he was saying it as a joke, not like he was saying it as, I really hate these people. It seemed like he was almost saying it like a tongue-in-cheek, sarcastic remark that, yeah, you should take this a little personally, but I don't dislike you for it. You know what I mean? I think he knows how to talk to people. We already got a lot of backstory on him, too, with the 2 daughters. The youngest one has autism. He's married. So you're getting his soft side early. And I think that really bodes well for him to possibly be your winner here. Like, I really liked his edit tonight. And he has all the pull in that drop. He is in control of that drop.
Yeah, I mean, it's him and Scott. And I will agree with you. He had an amazing edit. And he's just very energetic. He seems like the elements aren't going to get to this guy. He's got sunburns on each shoulder. I think, he's in a really, really strong spot. He's looking good. Let's talk about Jenny. We didn't really get Jenny, her story. We got the whole bug ear bit, which was just insane. I mean, this is the 32nd season. That has never happened. That was weird. You could see the blood through the bug. I mean, that was crazy.
Here's my question. Why did medical never come look at her? If there's something in your ear and it's trying to burrow in your ear, don't you think medical would come and pull out fucking tweezers? Sorry, I just dropped a big one. But pull out tweezers and just yank it out of your ear. Like, seriously, this bothered me. Like, this really freaked me out. That's why I'm dropping F-bombs, because this freaked me out so bad, and I could not figure out why.
Okay, so I have one pretty good explanation and then another which is total shot in the dark because I'm not the most medically sound person. First one being, you have these people thrown out, it's I think day 1 or day 2, new environment, harsh conditions. You have Aubrey going, kind of losing her mind on one beach. Over here, you have a girl in pain. She's yelling, "There's a bug in my ear. There's a bug in my ear." I mean, how seriously do you even take that? I was watching this with my roommate, and he was just laughing like, "Yeah, right, lady. Yeah, right, there's a bug in your ear."
Well, your roommate's not a very intelligent or empathetic person.
But
you can tell him that if he's still sitting right there.
But we this is our 32nd season. It's never, ever happened. Medical, I mean, they use a lot of the same medical staff. You have people, I mean, you literally have people losing their wits about themselves. They're dehydrated, they haven't eaten, they have bug bites. I mean, to just yell out.
Here's my thing. She's bleeding and crying, and it's in her ear. There's something not right. If you're bleeding, there's something not right. If she wasn't bleeding and she was just complaining, there's something in my ear, there's something in my ear. Like what Aubrey was going through, you don't need medical to look at her. Like she can lay there, whatever. She's bleeding.
Yeah.
She's bleeding.
Yeah, I mean, comes to the next part of my argument. What can you really do? I mean, do you think you can't get tweezers down there in your ear? Like if it's 3 inches in your head, like
I don't know how far they put the gun to shoot to get the what do you call it out of your ear? The earwax. I mean, they could do something.
I don't know. It seems I think it's probably a combination. One, it's like, all right, it's a day 1. Let's really see if this is the case, or if we have 18 reality stars essentially. We cast the show to have big characters, to have drama. Is one girl on day 1 yelling on the island, "I got a bug in my ear." Let's let that sit and see if it's true. If it is true, do we have to? I mean, I don't know. No, they sign the releases. They don't have to worry about any of that. But I mean, eventually it crawled out. I do agree with you. Like, yeah, medical should probably be there, but I kind of get like, man, maybe bug in your ear, a bug all the way in your head. It sounds crazy. I mean, not her tribe didn't even believe her. Alicia was like, maybe it's water. Like,
yeah. I mean, somebody, if you want to comment, maybe leave your thoughts. Do it on our fantasy draft video. We don't want to put it on the Legends video because it would just make no sense to anybody watching the Legends video in the future. Cast assessments already got enough comments, so put it on our fantasy draft video. Any comments that you have for here, if you're watching live. But yeah, maybe somebody who's medically savvy can point us in the direction of what's going on. I mean, she was going for like a period of time where it wasn't pain, and then she's screaming, and then nothing, and then she's like, something's not right there. Something's not, and they've looked at people for far less than that medically.
That's true. I'll give you that. My problem was she had the buff on over her ears for most of it. It's like, how is that bug going to crawl out if you got the buff on?
Yeah, I know. No, I hear you. And then when she's laying on the thing and they're showing her ear, I'm like, please somebody pull that. Please somebody just pull that out. Like, come on, somebody yank on that. But other than that, we didn't get much of Jen's story, but I thought I would. She seems like a realer person than she came across as in her videos.
That's true, but it doesn't bode well for her that she doesn't have an established story. She just kind of had like the ear and the bug lady. That's like what she's going to be. And
she's the third wheel to Scott and Kyle, who I think are going to be stars of the season, or at least some of the stars of the season.
Right. Then I guess that brings us to Sydney. I said she is like exactly how she was in her preseason stuff. I didn't really get anything new from her. She seems fun. I like her a lot. The conditions might get to her eventually.
It's the same thing. I mean, I still want to say Sydney can win this game because Sydney was my preseason favorite. Watching the video, that was my favorite thing. But I'm terrified that she's going to break down once she actually starts getting hungry. She was fun tonight, though. I liked her. More power to her. Like keep Sydney going. I like Sydney.
All right, let's jump to the Beauty Tribe now. This tribe is a lot of fun. I think every character. I think we got a really good, solid ground of where they are in this tribe in the game.
This is my favorite tribe.
Yeah, I think it is too. Who do you want to start with here? Well, I'll let you pick one.
I say you start with Ty. He's the biggest star of that tribe. Don't save him for last. Just throw him out there first because he's how I thought Darnell was going to be. And Ty ended up shooting himself in the foot towards the end of the episode, but I don't think it's going to kill his game. But he really might be the glue of this Beauty tribe. He might be the glue of the season, Ty. Because whatever Ty was doing, everybody liked him. Whether you were Caleb or Nick, it seemed like everybody respected what he was doing, even if they didn't totally agree with it. Because he wasn't doing it we kept saying it, and call us racist if you want, but we kept saying he's going to be cowboy, he's going to be Yowman. And he didn't do it in the cowboy way. Cowboy was so in your face with it and so obnoxious that it pissed people off. And he's just like, look, these are my beliefs. This is what I do. I'm from Vietnam. When he called it like his hood, I thought that was like the funniest thing. Like just the way he said, like, this is my hood. I don't know. It just sounded funny to me. But like I love Ty. I hope that the idol thing doesn't kill him because I love Ty.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't either. It was looking so good for him, and we talked about this preseason that the girls in this tribe are probably going to get along very well because they're all pretty young. The guys they might clash because the guys are all different. You have the country boy, you have the life coach, and the gardener guy. So like,
and I think it was Michelle or Anna who called them on that instantly. They were like, those guys, there's no way they're all getting along.
Yeah, so they're going to stick together. And I thought if they're going to bring one of the guys in, it's going to be the 50-year-old gay guy who knows the land. It just it made the most sense. I was stoked when that happened because I was such a big fan of Ty. Let's get to this idol thing. I mean, it's so tough with these idols because if you're out there and you don't look, it's like, wow, what were you doing? How can you not look for the idol that's going to save you in the game? You're not playing the game if you're not looking. But on the other hand, if you're looking too early or if you get caught, it's like the worst thing that can happen to you.
I honestly think this is all speculation, but I think Ty is going to find it, and I think he's going to show it to the girls, and that's how he's going to get back in their good graces. I think Caleb and Nick are in trouble on this tribe, and I liked both of them tonight, but I think they're in trouble on this tribe. Those girls aren't breaking apart.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you. I just don't know about Ty.
Like, seriously, like the way that they were established in episode 1, like this is your group of 3. And that was the only one that seemed cohesive naturally. The other groups that they established tonight didn't seem natural. I guess Kyle and Scott a little bit.
Yeah, but we never got Jen. Yeah, we never got Jen with Kyle and Scott for them to have a three-way conversation, all talking about it. We never got that confirmation. Yeah, those 3 women seem really tight. Just back to Ty briefly. I don't know. I kind of disagree with you that Ty's going to be able to get back. I'm not saying that he's necessarily 100% the next boot. There is time for him to, if they win another challenge and he's catching fish or, getting bananas and coconuts from trees, all that stuff, he can get back in the good graces. But Anna was very, I trusted Ty. I do not trust that guy now. I think
that's like a knee-jerk reaction, though. And that's how a lot of people are with idols and all that. But if he comes over to you and he's like, look, I found the idol, all of a sudden you have to trust him because he just told you he has the idol. And he was straight up with him. He's like, yeah, I was looking for the idol over here. Give me 5 more minutes. I'm going to look somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, that is probably I don't know. Nick came up and said, where have you been looking or did you find? It's like they didn't even say idol. They just said, it. Like they didn't have to say the pronoun. I mean, that was it. Because
and he knew he was caught.
And he knew.
Yeah.
I just think he kind of saw them coming. He's like ripping trees out. If I'm ever on Survivor, which the chances are about 0, I am going to have firewood up, above my head, ready to go. So if I hear a bird chirping, I'm picking that up. Oh, check out all this firewood I got. And you have to do that. And
I thought he was just going to keep pulling the trees up and lay them down. That's
or
all he had
say,
to do.
say, look at all these trees.
Bringing these back. I know these are good for wood because I'm a gardener, and trust me, these work really well. They burn great. That's all he had to do.
Yeah, instead he's planting it back in. And, I mean, he was such a hypocrite the whole time about loving life.
Stop and everything. And
like he said, Nick or Caleb put a hole in this tree. He starts shopping and goes, oh, don't you feel bad for hurting that tree? It's like, dude, it's a tree. You're putting a hole.
Chopping branches.
Yeah, then he's ripping coconuts, and then he's pulling whole trees out of the ground. So
I love Tai Trang.
I love him, but he's in the the whole. I love life and plants. I mean, big hypocrite. I mean, I know the Idol's a big deal. Let's go to Caleb. Big fan.
I liked him tonight. I'm serious. There's nobody on this cast I disliked. To be honest, the one that I got the least from was Darnell, and he's gone. The other 17, I liked. I liked Caleb a lot tonight. I was surprised. I loved what he did when he jumped off the boat and grabbed the chicken like in one swoop. That was pretty badass. He seems like he's just a good guy who's out there to have fun. He comes out with the big brother thing. I think that was a smart move for him. This way people know. I mean, I think he's good. Yeah,
no, I'm on the Caleb train. We haven't seen much of him yet, but so far so good for Caleb. Nick,
is Caleb in trouble though with these three girls? Is he going to be their fourth? Is he going to use the dating tips and just follow them around? Like, do you think that it works for him? Do you think he could be their fourth?
At this point, I don't even know if they're looking for a fourth. It seems they're going to stick together and they're going to do whatever they need to do. We have to remember they only have to get last place. They could easily win if brought off. Maybe they go to tribal once and then they, Tai Trang or whoever messes up. But if I'm Caleb or Nick, I'm not pushing that at all. If they want to come up to me, I'm going to be nice around camp. I'm not going to go up. I'm not going to start starting alliances, strategizing, anything, because that only can put a target on your back. If you're not the last person on the chopping block in these 3 tribe seasons, just stay put.
Yeah.
Stay put. Swaps are coming. You only have to get second place minimum. There's no reason for Nick or Caleb to kind of push that. That's why I fear anything for Caleb is that he's going to try too hard to charm these women. But I think he's so far doing a good job.
Yeah, I think he did a really good job tonight. And then I guess we can just jump over to Nick. My big question with Nick, I liked him tonight. My big question with Nick is he really that good looking? Like, Michelle was going goo-goo over him. Like, is he really – like, he's all right looking. He kind of has, like, a pointy nose. He's got, like, a pointy old chin thing. His body's not that great. Is he really that good looking?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know.
I mean, I'm just throwing this out there. I mean, I want to know if, like, other fans think this, because when he was saying the thing at the beginning, like, yeah, it's easier for me to get things because I am better looking than most people. And, like, as he's saying that, he's going cross-eyed because he's looking at the point of his nose that's sticking out like 3 feet. And I mean, good for Nick if that's what's going on. I mean, Michelle thought he was good looking, and Michelle's going to win this whole game. So good for him, but I don't know. I just don't see it. He's no I don't know who's a really good looking guy who's played in the past. He's not one of them.
I think he's like above average. You say that, and then like he's fit and he's tan and he can't be a brain and he can't be a Brawn. So I think
but no. It's the fact that he was saying. I'm only bringing it up because he said it at the beginning, and then Michelle made a point of how good looking. Here's like the tall, dreamy guy walking. He's going to see me all dirty. Like, is he that dreamy? Like, is this what?
You have to look at it this way.
Let's be honest. I mean, come on.
I mean, there's a few things to look at. They are on the beauty tribe, and they might, Michelle might have some pride, and they're going, oh, we got a country boy, a gardener, and then I don't really have much to say, but we are the beauty tribe. I'm just going to say he's beautiful. And same goes. I mean, they're going to show any clip they can show to promote the theme, they're going to include. So it's not that shocking that someone would call him dreamy. I mean, it is the beauty tribe.
He's the best looking guy on the season, too. Like, to be honest, it's not a very good looking dude season. Not that they're bad looking dudes. It's just like you don't have like the typical dudes.
That'll be one of our midweek podcasts. We can rank how hot the guys are in the season.
The dudes are on this season. All right. Anyway, but no, I thought going to come across as kind of like a dirtbag, an early boot. He's going to try too hard. He's going to try to be too much of a strategist. I thought Nick got a great edit tonight. I thought that he was really good. I liked where he was trying to stand with everything. with Anna, him and Anna Ty. And Anna was the one who said she really wanted to work with Ty. Maybe Anna wants to work with Nick. And I think Anna's in a great position. Like you said, Anna's you said Anna as your winner pick. I'm assuming you read some spoilers somewhere, and that's why you changed it from Alicia to Anna. But I totally could see Anna winning this game, and I wouldn't be surprised if her and Nick are actually kind of tight.
Yeah, I mean, I've been high on Anna since the cast assessment, so no, I did not read spoilers. I read an article. It was an interview. It was a poker magazine interviewed her, and it was just the bipartisan libertarian thing because that's just awesome. And she plays poker. But yeah, she's doing great so far. She seems like she's the leader of the women because you have Michelle, who's like the kind of ditzy bartender. Then you have the 18-year-old, and then you have like the quantitative. Oh no, that's Liz. Then you have what does she say she does? I don't even know.
You. Time out. I still can't tell the difference between Liz and Anna. That's why I never picked Anna to win because I thought they were the same person.
They're both gorgeous. They're both like really.
No, she said she's a poker player, didn't she? I don't think she lied.
No, she definitely. I don't remember her saying she was a poker player.
I don't know if they ever really mentioned what she.
They didn't do the whole occupation powwow, so
no, which they did on the other tribe.
Right.
So, I don't know.
So yeah, maybe okay. Well, I don't think people know. I don't think she's going to tell anyone she's a poker player. I don't think that's not a poker player move to tell someone you're a poker player.
Good point.
But see, she's the most mature, and I think Julia and Michelle will kind of follow her lead. So I'm thinking next week I'm throwing Anna number one in my power rankings. I think she's very, very safe on that tribe.
Yeah, I honestly could see myself putting Anna and Michelle at 1-2 and putting Julia a little bit further down just out of fear that Julia is the weakest out of the three because I do think that she's going to come across as the weakest. But, I mean, we didn't get much from Julia tonight, but we know exactly where Julia stands. And it seems like Julia is going to fit in well. It seemed like even like the guys weren't like, oh, man, here's this weak 19-year-old girl walking around with her BU hat on. I mean, it really seems like the girls are outplaying the guys on that tribe. Because
for sure.
The girls are sitting there going, what do you think this person does? What do you think this person does? What was his name? What was this? And the guys are like, I thought the one girl said this. I think the one girl said this. And I think the girls are thinking so far ahead.
Wait.
Probably on that level, but Caleb's not.
That girl in yellow? That girl in yellow?
The girl in yellow. It's the yellow tribe. Like I was like,
it's like everyone's wearing yellow.
Yeah, they were all wearing yellow.
Yeah, Julia, she had one confessional, I think, Julia. And it was something about like, yeah, I'm in sorority, blah, 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 but I'm more. There's more to me than just being, a sorority sister, which I get. I don't see her like winning this game, but she fits in, like you said. She just fits in well. She didn't really stand out, but it's not like she got under-edited by any means. She didn't have much.
This could honestly be a trio that's kind of like Kim, Sabrina, and Chelsea. And it might be where Anna wins over Michelle and Julia, and they barely get any votes, not because they were bad at the game, just because Anna played so much better of a game. You know what I mean? Like, I almost feel like Julia is going to kind of get like the Chelsea type edit where it's like she's always there and she's actually not playing a bad game, but she's being overshadowed. And I feel like that's what happened this episode, and I think it might carry over for the rest of the season too. I
would absolutely hate that if that's the case, because then any repeat of One World would just be awful.
Just saying. I'm just comparing it to that because it's the only real,
No, it's a good comparison. It could easily happen. I like where your head's at. Let's go to Michelle. I am very impressed with Michelle. I thought she was way more insightful than I thought. I forget exactly what she said, but she was starting to stir the pot a little bit, like us three girls. I think though I'm saying I think Anna is kind of the head of that threesome. I think Michelle kind of got the ball rolling.
I think Michelle attacked it. And I was just going to say that. Michelle was the one who pulled it together. Anna's the one who's going to use that better, I think. I think Michelle, I thought Michelle, like you were saying, she's a little ditzy. She's this with the Harry Potter and all that. And I said she was going to win. She's from near where I live in New Jersey, so that was like a big part of it. But I wouldn't have said that she was going to win. Like Tony was also from New Jersey. And all his preseason stuff, I was like, this guy has no shot in hell. And I was clearly wrong on that. But he just came across as too out there. Michelle, I feel like, was playing up the ditziness for the cameras to now make people like her a little bit, like in the preseason stuff. And they probably just showed a little bit of her goofier side. I think she's a total gamer. I think she is out there playing. And I really do think I think she was the one who was sitting there, and she was the one who was like, hey, what do you think? Which guy do you think we can get? Do you think they're getting along? Like, she was the one who was saying all that, not Anne.
Yeah, and that really surprised me. So I think Michelle had a really good edit. And she had something about her life. You know, she was saying she's a bartender. She can read people, kind of play to personality types. So they're definitely kind of building her up as a character as well. Anything else on this beauty tribe before we head over to Brain?
I'm very happy Beauty didn't lose. That's all I'm going to say. I'm very happy it was Brawn that lost over Beauty because I really like every character on Beauty right now, and I want to see them hang around a little bit longer.
I 100% agree, and because of that, it's like I almost knew they wouldn't lose because if they lose, the way it was edited, you know, going into the challenge, it would have been tie training 100%. There wouldn't have been. I mean, it would be.
Or he finds an idol and blindsides one of the big guys. That's the only way it would.
Yeah, but
there was a lot of time left after that challenge, man. There really was because of the tie. There was a lot of time left.
That's true. I was watching a little delayed, and then there's a 90 minutes, so I wasn't exactly paying attention to that. But that is a good point. I just thought, man, once Brain won, I'm like, okay, Braun is going to go to tribal here, just because Braun was very, you know, up in the air. But you had Darnell dropping the goggles, you had Jenny with her ear, and then you had Alicia, kind of, you know, the blondie that people don't like. So I agree with you. I'm glad Beauty didn't go. Let's head over to this Brain tribe. I really, really like this tribe. And I hated this tribe in the cast assessment. There's only one person I don't like, and you can probably guess who it is.
Is it Debbie?
It's Debbie.
See, I think they're playing Debbie up a bit. We talk about, you know, like legends, and I don't think that she's by any means going to be a Survivor legend here. But I feel like they're almost playing her as like a Kathy type, where she is so in your face and obnoxious, and she doesn't realize it yet. And she's gonna survive one vote and realize it. And I think Debbie's going to go kind of far in this game. I think Aubrey is her buffer. And because of Aubrey, I think Debbie's going to keep going. Aubrey is falling apart, man. And I think Debbie's going to make it kind of far in this game. And I think she's going to start to come around to being a little more likable. If you rewatch Marquesas, nobody liked Kathy the first episode either. Like, even fans. You watch here, you know, that's what I'm kind of getting from her a little bit.
I agree. I'm not saying I think she's going to be the first boot. I'm just saying out of this, you know, 6 people in this tribe, I really like them all. I really like Neil. Even Aubrey really surprised me. And I know she had her whole kind of mental breakdown, but before that, she wasn't being overly quirky or anything like I thought she would be. I really liked Aubrey. Debbie was clearly just getting on people's nerves, getting on my nerves. She could turn around, especially when you see Aubrey go up to her and just lean on her shoulder like, I need you. Like, I know you are a motherly figure. I know you're smart. I know you can tough it. You know, these are tribes. I know they divide them up in crazy ways, and we have like tribal council and torches and kind of, you know, these gimmicky spiritual things, but it is a tribe. Like, they do live together. It's only 6 people out there at the beach. So there is something to that. There's something to be said for, you know, there's this piece of wood that's your shelter where you're, you know, shacking up every night. So
I gotta say, I think my favorite scene of the entire episode might have been, or my favorite little arc was how the 4 young bucks, I think Neil called them, were going to stick together and get rid of the 2 old people. Aubrey starts having a panic attack, and I don't know who's listening who's had panic attacks, but panic attacks are the worst thing in the world. And she's having a panic attack in a situation where there's no way to get comfort. So she's absolutely losing her mind. And she goes right to the 2 old people, and they comfort her to no end. And that, to me, showed Joe and Debbie. Debbie's annoying. I get that. But Joe and Debbie are the heroes of that tribe right now. And I think I was feeling a little bit of that. Here's Aubrey breaking down, and the other, like, Neil got up and like was like, here, just lay down, all this stuff. But like, I thought it was a great little arc how it was Joe and Debbie, they're the first 2 people out. They're outcasts. And here's Aubrey laying her head on Debbie. And you don't vote somebody out after a moment like that. You just don't. Aubrey would not write Debbie's name down if they would have went to tribal council tonight. I do not think it would have happened.
Yeah, that was a great moment. I'm glad you brought that up. I have a lot to say now. Did you have a panic attack? It seems like you've had a panic attack.
Oh yeah, I've had numerous.
Oh my God. What? Yeah, I mean, we'll have to recap that some other time.
We'll recap into panic attack. Panic attacks are sweet, dude. Yeah.
I can't imagine. I've never had one, but it sounds crazy.
Work one up, dude. They're fun.
The 4 in the water, we have Peter, Neil, Aubrey, and Liz. Those are the four. Those four, it was so funny. It reminded me immediately of Caramoan when it was like Eddie, Reynolds, and then I don't have the names. The two blonde.
Hope and the other girl. Who's the other chick? Come on. It wasn't Laura. It was Hope and the other blonde. Oh my God.
Whatever. Dude, who cares? But there was four of them, and they're like, we're the popular kids in high school, and it was a tribe of 10. And it's like, you bozos. You have four. You're isolating yourselves. You're leaving 6 people on the beach. Doesn't make sense. Here, I've got the same vibe from these four, but I'm like, okay, at least you got the numbers. Like, it's tribe of 6. Right. So at least you're getting it done. And then I'm looking at, Joe and Debbie, they're laughing and catching up. Bonnie, I'm like, don't you realize there are 4 people? But like you said, that little mini arc that the young are just relying on their elders. We've kind of talked about Debbie enough. We'll have to, wait and see what happens with her. Let's talk about Aubrey. Had the panic attack. She seemed like she was with it for most of it, though. She really did.
Yeah, I think what was happening is Aubrey, like she was saying, she works in social media. She's from Boston. She just went from the Boston winter to here. When was the last time that Aubrey was severely dehydrated? Like, seriously, think about that. Here's a girl who probably doesn't play many sports, doesn't go out and do all this stuff. I'm sure somebody's going to bring up in her bio, it says all this. That's fine. But whenever she gets done with that, she's drinking water. She's drinking whatever she has to do. She's eating her food. She was so she's just not used to that feeling. It's not like Scott Pollard, who's used to playing basketball and used to just being dehydrated and exhausted. Here's a girl who's not. And she hasn't felt something this drastic in a very long time. And it just destroyed her mind. That's all that happened. Her mind was like, oh my God, I'm going to die out here. That's pretty much what was happening.
Her brain.
So her brain is failing her on the brain stride.
Right. And before we go on to the next person, it was just so funny. She goes up to Debbie saying, like, I need water or fruit. And then Debbie has a confessional saying, when I saw her, I immediately knew she was dehydrated and needed nourishment. It's like, she just came up and told you that. So
yeah, dude, I'm reading between the lines.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting some kind of coach delusional vibes that, I see it now that she wrote coach in her bio.
This is completely off topic, but did you happen to watch Vine a little? I'm allowed to throw this out here, right? You didn't watch Vine?
Of course. No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you did? Oh, you didn't watch it?
No, okay. I haven't seen it.
Where the guy just keeps saying,
Don't tell me.
Over and over again the same thing.
Just don't tell me.
And then the other guy's like, I think he's trying to say, and he says the exact thing. That's pretty much what happened with Aubrey and Debbie. It's really funny if you watch the show, but that's pretty much what just happened with Aubrey and Debbie. And that's all pretty much when I was watching it. Yeah.
That's pretty much what just happened with me saying, don't tell me, and then you just proceed to ruin.
Did I tell you between what characters or what happens or who says it? No, I didn't say a thing. I didn't say I don't know, it's 800 characters. It's a pilot.
You know me and spoilers, man.
Grow up, bro. Okay, now I'll start telling you characters' names. All right, anyway, who do you want to move on to next? Liz? Didn't get much from Liz tonight, dude.
I think she had quite a few confessionals at least. Maybe
but
3.
I don't feel like I got a lot about her. She didn't do anything to really separate herself from Anna.
They're not in the same tribe. I don't think she needed to. I think what we got from Liz is that she's the narrator of that Brains tribe. At least for me. You have Debbie, who's like...
No, Neil's the narrator.
But Neil, we didn't get much from Neil. We only got, I think, 1 or 2.
So many confessionals from Neil, man. We got so many confessionals. I think Neil got 5 confessionals. And they were all like early when they were getting to the beach and him explaining everything that's going on. And then he's talking about keeping the 4 people together. I think he's your narrator. I don't think Liz is your narrator.
Okay, I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just because Liz was in that bikini and I just remember that more vividly. I mean, honestly.
She said everything this episode. She's just sitting there talking.
I just remember Liz like sitting in like the forest talking like a good amount. I see what you're saying with Neil, though. Neil was really big on getting those 4 together. But you're right, though. I don't think I got enough about Liz. She did lie about her job. She says she does analytics for the government. I mean, that's the best way to play down any type of strategic or analytic job where you have brains. You just say, instead of working for a private firm, you say, I work for the government. And then people go, oh, okay, you must not be that smart.
Pretty much, which is kind of funny. And then you go from her and you got the president on your team. And are people going to look at Peter as if he's smart or not? And I guess that totally, not that I'm going to get political even in the slightest bit, but it was funny that Debbie called him right out on being Obama. which he was
I mean,
worried was going
how?
to happen
Yeah.
instantly.
How could anyone not, though? I mean, it's honestly insane how much he looks like Obama. It's
really
not
is crazy.
it's not a stretch by any means.
No. Like the same facial features. And that's like not an easy face to duplicate. It's crazy.
Okay, I'm gonna have to rewatch this episode and with a keen eye on Liz's face, I think, or hear what she's saying, because I don't know. I think she said a lot. I'm gonna have to kind of, but like you're saying, did we get a lot from her? I don't think so.
I don't think we did. And I'm saying this as the person before this episode who couldn't tell Anna and Liz apart. I think we got a great edit from Anna. I don't think we got anything really from Liz. She was there. She had some cool moments, a couple interesting moments, but I feel like she was the sixth most interesting person on the Brain Tribe, in my opinion.
Okay, that's fair. Let's jump right to Neil. We've already talked a lot about Neil, so maybe we
like Neil a lot. He was so calm. He was cool. He
was calm, cool, collective, and he kind of saw the game. He saw where everybody was. He gave us the whole Shireen bit. There's a tribe of 6. You need 4 people. But the good thing about what he did and what Shireen didn't do, Shireen prefaced saying that by saying she's a master strategist. Neil just said it because it's obvious and it's going to be pertinent to what happens.
Yeah.
They're going to get 4 together. That's all I really got from Neil. I mean,
I thought Neil had a really good episode. I like Neil a lot. I thought it was interesting when Neil was talking to Peter about let's vote out those 2 people, and Peter's like talking, and Neil's like, "All right, be quiet. Sound travels very well across water." Like I thought that was just like I thought that was a really funny line. Like, wow, there you go. Like this is the guy. He's nerdy at heart. He can't help it. He's got to say something like that. And here's Peter. I think Peter. He's 7th or 8th place. I think that's Peter. Like I think Peter's just like he's kind of like a goat. I almost feel like I don't feel like he's really going to be much of a player in this season.
Yeah, that water line, I laughed out loud. It was just that's the Brain Tribe. That's why they include those little tidbits just to beef up the theme. Yeah, Peter had, I think, maybe the first confessional. And it starts off with him saying, "I'm really smart," or it's like it's tough being. It's something where it's like immediately.
He's the ER doctor. It's going to be hard for him to not be like intelligent to people or talk down or whatever you're saying.
I come off really. It just was immediately. All right, dude. Cool. You're on the Brain Tribe. I don't. This is kind of. I didn't really get these cocky vibes. I kind of got an aloof vibe from him in his preseason, but he's not winning this game, Peter.
Yeah, I feel like people are almost going to be telling him what to do all season. I think it was very telling with Neil saying that to him about the water. I feel like Neil pointed out like that, hey, we got the 2 people on the outside. I know Peter said it, but I feel like it was pointed out to him by Neil. I feel like Liz was even kind of pointing things out to Peter. I feel like Peter was kind of like the clueless 4th guy. He feels a lot to me like Mick, who was another doctor kind of just there being told what to do by other people. Mick started out cocky, and man, did he fall apart by the end of that season. So, like, that's kind of what I'm getting from Peter a little bit here.
Couldn't agree more. On the nose with Peter, we both agree. Let's go to Joe. I like Joe. I think he's in trouble, though. Yeah, if he was going to last a while, we would have gotten more from him. Just because if you have a chance to build up the 73-year-old guy on the toughest seasons of ever history, you're going to milk that. You're going to make him a fan favorite. You're going to turn him into the next Rudy, ex-FBI, all this stuff. He didn't get much tonight.
And there was a line in there about, I think it was Liz. See, she said this. This was Liz, not in the woods, though. She was sitting in the water. I think she said he's the most likely to get medevac. And we know there's medevacs on this season. Is that a foreshadow that Joe really is going to be? He looked good tonight. He looked fine. He was holding up fine. But he is 72, 73 years old, whatever it is. That's old. Like, that's old to put your body through those elements.
See, I heard that line. I immediately thought, I think Liz might get medevac.
No, I don't think so. Liz doesn't do anything. She can't get medevac. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. She did everything. That's right, Will. That's right. She did everything this episode. I'm making fun of your infatuation with this girl.
I got to take another look at this episode. I got to be honest.
It was a good episode to take another look at, though.
It was. There was a lot here, as we've said. And I kind of liked how we didn't have, you can choose a bag of rice or an idle clue, or vote one person who's the weakest, choose a leader, any of this kind of extra twist stuff early. It was like, okay, you got your tribe, 6 people. and you have some supplies, and that's it. And I think that speaks for this season being a character-driven season. I don't think we're going to get heavy strategy, and I'm in the mood for that. We had heavy strategy last season.
Very
fresh.
Very, very old school. Just from the beginning, with Jeff on the boat with them. That was season 1, 100%. They're already moving, and he's just walking down saying 18 Americans are about to, enter on the adventure of a lifetime. That is season 1, 100%, like shot for shot. And they do the marooning. They get out there. Jeff doesn't – we don't need to see Jeff explain the rules to them or introduce them. Hey, welcome to Brains versus Brawn versus Beauty. We've seen it before. This felt old school. We got to know every character. There wasn't much relying on strategy. The little bit of strategy was Ty shooting himself in the foot by trying to be strategic and go find the thing. We didn't get Kyle as the Russell-type character who's coming out just strategizing. We got to know these people in like a real way, and maybe that speaks to how this season is going to be, as you said earlier, just random.
And I think it's just heavy on characters and about the characters. It's not going to be there's not going to be this voting block kind of how many votes can we pull, how many advantages can we use, how can we work people. I mean, obviously we're going to go to tribal council every single episode, and people are going to go home. But I think it might be played with more emotion. Like, who do you like more? Who can you get along with? Who's rubbing you the wrong way? Instead of, man, can I really get this number for the next vote? Or what if we merge? It just doesn't feel like that type of season. And I obviously would love the best combination, just having a little bit of both. But this season seems like we have a lot of entertaining characters. So I'm happy about it. That wraps up kind of touching on, the cast. Let's get into this immunity challenge here. Pretty good challenge, tough challenge, pretty simple. Darnell drops the mask. I don't think we need to really touch on that anymore. The thing that's crazy to me is that you have the decision between puzzle and dexterity, and Jeff uses the line, whatever, thing works best for your tribe. It's not like there's a dexterity tribe out there. It's not brains versus bronze versus beauty versus dexterity. It isn't there.
Yeah.
So
that was a dumb. I mean, there's no way anybody does anything but the puzzle. The puzzle is a sure thing. You're either going to do it or you're not. The other thing, you can knock over, you could fall off. Like, that's just dumb.
Yeah, and one of them, like puzzle, that's clearly a brain thing. And if you had another one, you could do something with Brawn where you have to stack up something huge, or I don't know. You can figure something out to a strength. You can't really have a beauty option. I don't know what it would be.
Yeah, they just stand in front of a mirror until like the mirror smiles or something, or glints. I don't really know. Real quick though, one scene I have to draw attention to: the grunting montage at Brawn, where they're all picking up heavy things and Alicia's like doing nothing. That was fantastic. I just had to draw attention. There's literally a montage of everybody grunting and picking up heavy objects. I thought that was really funny. Just because you were talking about the strength thing. But back to the challenge. There was like a thing that CBS had put out before this, and it was like the challenge preview. And originally, you were allowed to choose how many oars you wanted to get. And you didn't have to get all 4. You would just have less paddling power. And when they didn't do that, I was thrown off a little bit because I had seen this and I was like, oh, this is going to be great. And I was like, wait, that's weird. Like, why did they not do this? You know what I mean? Like why did they all have to get all 4? Because if they only had to get 1 or 2, then all of a sudden Braun just gets 2 and they just paddle. You know what I mean? And maybe that makes the challenge a lot different.
I think you just get 0 and like use Scott Pollard's arms. Like, those things are probably better than ours.
Especially after you drop the mask. I mean, yeah, it's worth it.
That's probably why they axed it. I don't know what they did, but that's interesting. I didn't know that. I do like whenever there's decisions to be made in challenges. It's always fun. I want to see more of it, just not puzzle versus dexterity. Like, who's good at dexterity? How do you know if you're good at dexterity?
5,2,500 or whatever the hell it was that was fun. That was a good one. I like that. That type of thing's smarter.
Right.
Like, unless you have like a world-class gymnast on your team, are you really gonna do dexterity? Like, be like, hey, by the way, I can balance plates on my head or something. You know what I mean?
But
like,
gymnasts,
is that really what
who knows how dexterous you are? You could suck.
Well, I'm just saying, when you're standing on that thing where you're like wobbling, I just keep saying gymnast because they probably have way better balance than Scott Pollard.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're Keith Nail, I don't think you're choosing dexterity. Let's get to post challenge. I don't think there's anything else to talk about this challenge. Pretty simple. Kind of touched on you probably should have voted out Alicia. The main thing you take away from this is Alicia's lie that she has an idol. Do you think maybe they believe it?
No. And even if they did, I guess that's why they split it 3-3, but I don't think it was really an issue to them, because why wouldn't they just vote out Alicia then after the thing? I mean, obviously, if you think she has an idol and she doesn't play it there, you just vote her out.
Exactly. It just seems so weird for her to say, I never said I didn't have an idol. That would make me want to vote her out immediately. It's like, wow.
That's what I thought happened to Scott Pollard. He was like, we're throwing up softballs to her, and she's just not hitting it. She doesn't get it, and she lies to it, and he's like, all right, I'm done. He just walks away. It's like, dude, just vote her out then. I'm really surprised they let her hang around.
Okay,
you don't think she's going to make the comeback? I don't know if she will, but, man, they gave her an opportunity.
No, I mean, she could. I just don't think she's going to be – she might be a flipper. I don't see her kind of dominating the season or having any sort of real presence. If she flips, everyone's going to know she flips. It's not going to be, oh, we got to pull her over. It's going to be she's going to kind of go where you think she's going to go. Nothing really surprising out of her. And I think our podcast right now is kind of a microcosm of this episode and maybe the entire season, that we're really not going to talk about this vote that much, but we just spent – this whole podcast going through each character one by one because we saw a lot from them. And I think that's okay. That's okay to have a season like this. I don't really need to talk about this vote. I don't need to really talk about tribal council anymore.
No, I think we covered everything. What we should do is jump to some comments because we had a lot.
Let's do it.
Twitters. So let's jump to Twitter first. Okay, let me try to find my way all the way back to the beginning. I mean, we had a lot this time. Okay, so Peter Rubenstein says, I'm pissed off. Felicia gets voted off. That was going to be my first boot until one of you said she stays in a while. I don't think either of us said she stays in a while. I think it was just Will saying that was his winner pick and then instantly regretting it.
I literally looked. I was going like this. Who do I want? I just went boom, Alicia.
Yeah, and
then I instantly was like, that's a terrible.
That's
pick.
A bad pick. Yeah, and then he does say, never mind, thanks for saving me, because she didn't go home. Johnny Burtak, my boot list is already messed up. You guys butchered my last name. I just pronounced it right, though, because he told me how. Jimmy O'Connor, that was a pretty sad ending. It's kind of obvious that Alicia was staying because they used her quote for the title. I don't think that makes it obvious, because I think there's been plenty of people who have been booted after using the quote for the title. I think that happens a lot, actually.
Oh, well, I didn't know the title. I still don't know the title.
The title was I'm a Mental Giant.
Oh. So, yeah, I would honestly make me think she's going home. But I'm glad I didn't know it. Didn't really come into play for me.
Jimmy O'Connor, who do you think has a safe path to the merge after watching this first episode?
It's almost like, what's our eliminator pick going to look like for the next few weeks? Both our eliminator picks, we didn't do this on air, so I'm just touching on this. I picked Caleb to survive the premiere. Who'd you pick? Sydney?
Scott.
Yeah, I mean, until a swap, I think Scott and Kyle are looking really good.
Set. I think the three chicks on Beauty are set.
3 chicks on Beauty look good, and I think Liz, yeah, they do. I think Liz looks good, too.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, of course, Liz, she definitely can't go home pre-merge. She said nothing tonight, but Willie just kept hearing sweet nothings in his ear. I would say if there has to be one person from Brain that I think is going to go far from this episode, I would say the safest path is probably Neil, just because it seems like he's kind of the one who's pushing things. Aubrey had her breakdown. Debbie and Joe are kind of on the outside. I think Liz also has a pretty safe path.
That's what I was saying.
But she could also get like Alexis Maxwell and just like, hey, we swapped. Bye.
Yeah,
see ya. You're out.
That's why I'm saying until there's I think the question should be until a swap who's good. Because once a swap happens, you can.
In that case, Kyle and Scott, they're safe as hell. The 3 girls on Beauty. And yeah, Liz and Neil. You're right with Liz on this one. I'll give you it. Giovanni Oriana, if you guys were on Brawn, who would you have voted out? Alicia. Like 100%. I would have voted out Alicia.
Same here.
Yeah. And go ahead.
I like Darnell. I like Darnell. It was funny how much people really liked him preseason too. He seemed like a good guy. A lot of fans were on Darnell's side. and he has this sob story that brings Jenny to tears, and and he's gone.
Here, Steel Punch posted on a video. Please read this live Wednesday night. RIP Bootless Game Season 32. Darnell was the highest voted winner and is the first boot. Anyway, I'm so depressed, but I think Darnell is one of the best first boots of all time. Took a poop on live TV, and I cannot believe they did not vote out Alicia. Although this is a great start, it is so depressing. We're on opposite ends because I think that he's going to be one of the least memorable first boots of all time. But that's crazy. Kind of going with what you said. Darnell was insanely liked preseason. I am shocked he is the first boot here. I thought it was Alicia, no doubt.
That's why I don't think Darnell's forgettable, and especially this kind of age. For anyone who listens to us, and especially you and me right here, none of these boots are ever going to be forgettable because we talk about them to death before the season starts. So, I'm going to remember Darnell forever. Not forever, but for, a while.
Till your last word on your deathbed, Darnell. That'll be it. It'll be Liz for sure at this point. But, yeah, it could be Darnell.
Who was the first boot of Worlds Apart?
It was So Kim.
There you go. It took me not
very memorable.
Not very memorable, but you remembered. We're only a few seasons out.
San Juan del Sur, the most memorable first boot because it was the Amazing Race. It was the winner's twin, and she was on the Amazing Race. It's like cheating. Yeah, that's like cheating.
Yeah, and season 28 was memorable too. Yeah, okay. Let's stop going through first boots.
Yeah, we don't need to worry about that. We'll do that some other day. Giovanni Oriana again. Do you think Brawn will self-destruct like the brains on Kaoh? I don't. I don't think they're going to go to tribal again.
I don't think so either, except Brain did look good. Usually Brain or the White Collar Tribe, they're like your go-to. They're going to suck at challenges and fall apart. They actually got first place, so there's something to be said, hey, maybe the competition is better. They are down someone. They still have to have Alicia participate in every challenge until she gets voted off.
This is the way I look at it. They lost so much time by Darnell dropping goggles, and they still lost by one puzzle piece.
That's
at least that's how it was.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to tribal again. Giovanni Oriana again. Do you think Sydney will try to form a girls' alliance with Jennifer and Alicia? She might try, but I think that Jennifer is going to stick with the guys. I think she was one of the big advocates of I want to hang out with the guys. I'm a tomboy.
Sydney's the same way. I think Alicia is certainly on the bottom, even with Alicia kind of falling to the wrong side of the vote. It was on a revote, so I think Sydney will be okay.
Yeah. Next, Giovanni Oriana again. Who do you think will go further in the game? Ty, Scott, Joe, or Debbie? That's interesting. These are 3 outcasts and then Scott just because he was the basketball player. Who do you think?
I'm going to roll with Scott.
I'm going to go Ty. I think Ty's going to go far, man. I think he put a little bit of a target on his back, but he was so positive early. I feel like that was just kind of set the tone of you guys are going to like Ty this season. I feel like he's going to be a fan favorite. I think he's going to go far.
I hope so.
So do I. I like him. Jimmy O'Connor, what did you guys think of nature-loving Ty destroying 3 trees for an idol? That was kind of hilarious. Yeah, we mentioned that. Big hypocrite. It's probably under the 4th tree. Yeah, it's probably under the 4th tree.
I loved him looking around. I loved it because he's it has to be here by these trees when he's in a jungle just surrounded by trees. Why does it have to be right where you're looking at? I didn't really get that, but it made me laugh.
It was a little bit of an outcut. Anyway, and Curtis, do you think Jennifer would have been voted out or medevac if that bug hadn't crawled out of her ear? I 100% think that unless she goes in the ocean water and it pops the thing out of her ear, I 100% think that she's getting voted out, asking them to let her leave so that she can get her ear fixed or whatever the hell's going on. Yeah,
medical would arrive. They'd take the buff off and it would crawl out, and then she'd be fine.
Yeah, there you go. And Curtis, again, I think Phil's right about Aubrey. She's giving me Melissa McNulty vibes. And Will was right about Liz. Wow, there you go, man. Somebody thought that you were right about Liz. Does anybody actually know who Melissa McNulty is? This is actually a good Survivor trivia question.
Whenever it comes to older obscure players, you're kind of the guy. You're the historian on the podcast.
Let me give a little education here because Ann Curtis, that is a great name drop. Melissa McNulty. I feel like I need to drink cognac while I say this. She was originally supposed to be on season 14 Survivor Fiji. Believe it or not, well, that was season 14. About an hour or so before the game was about to play, she had a serious panic attack, and they removed her from the game before the game even started, and that's why it started with 19 people. And poor dear Sylvia was not actually put on a tribe and had to choose which tribe she went to, and she ended up getting voted out maybe 2 votes later. Yes. Sip your cognac, guys. There it is.
So she's someone who didn't officially play. I'm going to give myself a pass on not – I maybe heard that name before. That's big Survivor
history, though.
Yeah. No, you're the in-house historian here. I'm more of the smart analytical guy.
I don't know. You're kind of the guy who just looks at the hot girls in the bikinis and drools. That's kind of what you're turning into. You're kind of starting to lose brain cells over there.
Well, on this season.
On this season, yeah. Johnny Talks Sports, who I think is Johnny Burtek, but now it looks like he's just Johnny Talks Sports. He changed his name halfway through. My thoughts on the episode, Blondie annoyed me a bit. Almost thought we'd have a medevac. Ty story hit me in the feels. Yeah, I mean, I thought Ty, they really built him up as like the underdog who everybody's going to like adore. Blondie, I thought it was funny that like Kyle just would not call her Alicia. She was Blondie even to her face. She's just Blondie. Like, I wonder if she thinks that's actually insulting or if, like, that kind of just started to become a thing and she just, like, kind of got over it. Like, I really do wonder.
Yeah, I mean, her hair is really, really blonde. It's not like a natural blonde. It's like a bleach blonde, so you kind of had that one coming.
Yeah. Giovanni Oriana, this is not related to this, but he says, what is the best premiere of Survivor? Certainly not this episode. I still always say, as bad as this is.
Redemption Island.
Redemption Island. It's either Redemption Island. Heroes versus Villains was fantastic, but had a really like what the hell's the word I'm looking for? Anticlimactic boot with Sugar going. Redemption Island was the best freaking. How did they do that and then have such a bad season to follow? My God, that's for another day.
Or Karamoa. Karamoa had a pretty good premiere.
Anything with Francesca and Philip, guys. Those are the 2 best premieres. Just don't watch another episode after Francesca's out of the season. And that works for both seasons.
Yeah.
Johnny Talks Sports. Oh, go ahead. You can go if you want.
No, I was going to say, I mean, that's really, I mean, every episode Francesca has been in has been, like, incredible.
Like, top 20 worthy, maybe. You know what I mean? It's just unreal.
Yeah.
Even the one that she was in the next week when Matt got blindsided. I mean, think about that. Anyway, okay. Johnny Talks Sports. Nick didn't get as much airtime as I thought he would. I thought Nick got a pretty good amount of airtime. I just think everybody was evenly distributed here. I thought everybody was pretty even tonight.
I think Nick he came off as this larger than life character, you know, big personality, and I don't think he was playing that up for the cameras. And now we get out there, he kind of sat in the background. I think it's a smart move, and I like his spot. Yeah,
the Star 88. Did you guys see the fight between Fishbach and Max earlier on Twitter? Max takes things way too seriously. I did not see it. If you want to enlighten us, I did not see it though.
I'm on Fishbach's side. I didn't see it, but I already know I'm on Fishbach's side.
I mean, Max is Max. I hope Max never plays again. Max is annoying. Let's see here. Peter Rubenstein. Will's trying to prove the world wrong and beat Phil in fantasy. Although you did beat me last year too, so it wouldn't be proving the world that wrong. Although I think everybody's just ripping on your team this year more than anything. Right?
No, I picked a terrible team on purpose because I knew that's how the season would go. That was. I mean, I said that. I said that while I was picking it. I'm like, this is a garbage team.
Yeah, no, you did. You knew what you're doing. The Star 88. Beavers B leaves for some unfair spots Alicia and Darnell for some people who don't fit into any of the 3 tribes. Yeah, I think Alicia, we talked about this in our cast assessment, everything like that, when we did like our boot list game. She got screwed by her placement. If she ends up on Beauty, she probably fits in just fine with all those girls.
Yeah, I think she's actually, I mean, she's not working at camp, but besides that, she seemed to be a really lippy, aggressive girl, and she's like holding that back. She seemed really even keel for being on the block. She's like, yeah, whatever, keep me. I really want to be here. Like, she didn't get riled up. So I agree with that.
I think they might have told her, like, don't get riled up. You're going to stay. I think that's kind of what ended up happening. But to be honest, after watching this first episode, Debbie probably should have been over on Brawn, not Brains. And you probably could have, like, given some reason, or you probably could have put Alicia over on Beauty and moved Liz over to Brains. And then it's a lot more fair to somebody like Alicia and Debbie, who's not really fitting in with Brains.
You meant Anna.
And Liz.
You put Anna, move Anna to Brain.
That's what I meant. Liz is already on Brain. See, I still can't.
I know. I can tell them apart now. Like just one episode, I now got them both.
Just by the bathing suits they're wearing.
Right. Exactly.
Is that what you said? Because you cut out. You cut out. So the joke is ruined
that.
because you still don't know how to use internet.
I didn't say that, but that's pretty much the gist of it.
Brooke, she says, do you think the tribal was split at first to flush any possible idols, or were the guys and girls really split? I think that Sydney was always voting for Alicia. I think Jennifer changed her mind and tried to convince the guys, like, hey, let's vote out Alicia. I feel bad for Darnell. And then when it didn't work, she just revoted and voted out Darnell.
Yeah, it seems it's so crazy. If you're Scott and Kyle, you also don't you want to keep like I know it's not like a female versus male season, but keep the guys' numbers. You know, go up 3-2 in that vote. Even if you don't like Darnell, voting out Darnell, now there's 3 women. They can team up. And of course, these women all hate each other. They're all tomboys, but just that's another incentive to say, you know, let's get out Alicia.
Yeah, no, it's completely true. DJ Esco says Darnell didn't even hurt them that bad. It should have been Alicia. Darnell and the weightlifter could have been a weird dynamic duo. And do you think? He says I can't believe they split the votes like she was really going to have one. I don't think that they were worried that she had an idol. I just think that was kind of like a spur of the moment at tribal type deal. And then this is something that I've talked about a lot, so I'm just going to read this. This is another Esco thing. A twist this season that would be cool is if 2 tribes went to tribal and only 1 tribe won immunity. Please, Survivor, do that like soon. If you're going to do all these 3 tribe starts, like that's a perfect way for a double boot episode to happen,
and
it's really not unfair.
Right. I like it a lot. Let's do it.
And then Brooke, second question: which castaways totally changed your preseason opinion of them, good or bad? Tai Trang is in the positive, although I didn't really hate him. Nick moved way up, and
I think Scott
jumped a lot. Yeah.
Scott seemed really, really cool. I'm trying to think. I think Alicia and Darnell both I thought were going to be worse, even though they were the 2 on the block. Yeah. I honestly thought Alicia was going to be kind of a crazy, aggressive, lippy person. She wasn't like that at all. And I thought Darnell was going to be kind of a stick in the mud, and he was kind of fun. I really actually enjoyed his brief time on the show.
Yeah, I don't feel like cheated on Darnell just because, like, you know, it's a first boot. Like, what are you gonna do? But you know, we'll see. I don't know. Let's go to YouTube. Oh my God, I'm getting there. Come on, Paige, load.
Learn how to use internet.
Oh, your internet sucks so bad it's making mine suck. Wait. Oh, I have it. And I didn't have to cut out for like 20 minutes and ruin jokes and all that. Zachary Valentin. I'm sure Darnell's friends and family at home are not giving him any grief for being first boot, water pooper, goggle dropper. He will probably not be able to go back to work tomorrow. That is true. He dropped the goggles, he took a poop in the water, and he's a first boot. That's a rough first day for Darnell.
Well, water popper, poop, droop?
Water pooper. Goggle dropper.
I kind of like the goggle pooper.
The goggle poop and first booter.
There you go.
5 white guys. Welcome back, guys. I like this first episode a lot. It gives a bunch of characters some nice promise, which it needs following such a great season 31. I agree. We're off to a very solid start.
I agree.
5 white guys again. My thing with the vote off is that there was 100% something we didn't see with Darnell because the bathroom incident and the goggle drop was not enough to get rid of him over Alicia with the way she was being portrayed. Do you think that this was so much that they didn't show us something with Darnell, or that they tried to overplay Alicia? Because later on, Alicia is going to be kind of like a villain and just not fit in.
I think I kind of with 5 white guys here. What was this big, like, we really got to get rid of Darnell now? Like Scott said at Tribal Council, everyone knows you put your hand over your mask when you. It's like, okay, now he knows that problem is fixed. I don't know. It seems like there's more to it than that.
Yeah, because it's my whole complaint of like Darnell wasn't shown as like a bad guy, and that's almost why I feel like he's forgettable as a first boot.
Is he a weasel Darnell? Did he do something that they didn't want to show on TV? And
yeah. He's a dump in Darnell because he took a dump in a different place that was even more inappropriate. But I just feel like He's an unmemorable first boot because every first boot, like the memorable ones, you can point to like, this is what they did wrong. This is what they did wrong. That's a reason, like in season 1, 2, or 3 to get rid of somebody. But he stepped up, said, I want to be the diver. And Alicia sucked at the puzzle. She sucked just as bad. She wasted so much time. So, like, and they had a lead on the puzzle part. Like, they still came all the way back, overcame Darnell's problem, and screwed up the puzzle. And Alicia didn't even touch the puzzle pieces.
Yeah, I'm sure. Really, I'm sure if anything really did happen, I'm sure we'll find its way to the media, and we can talk about it.
Of course. 5 white guys. Watch out for how this Brains tribe plays out. I don't think it's going to be as simple as this 4 versus 2 setup. Aubrey may flip to Debbie's side.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I think that one moment was a key.
Yeah, and again, we see these alliances they form on day 1. They have to live for 3 days. They win a challenge. Another 3 days they lose. Things change in a week. Things are going. Nothing's constant in Survivor.
Yeah. Zachary Valentine. Will is crushing on Liz pretty hardcore, like almost to a creepy extent.
No.
And then
it can't be creepy if there's 2 of them. Like, I'll crush on Anna and Liz equally hard because then there's no like creep or obsession because it just doesn't work. There has to be one for it to be like really weird.
Like how much I like Baylor.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Thanks, man. All right, 5 white guys. That's 3 in a row. I'll read them all and we'll just comment on them. These are the last 3. Think with how the tribes are currently constructed, all of the challenges are going to be super tight. Think this is Anna's games to lose. The other contenders are Jason, Liz, Neil, and Sydney. Jason actually surprisingly first voted Alicia, and Jennifer was Darnell for both votes.
Wow.
That is interesting.
That is.
That last one is very interesting. What do you think about his contenders? A little summation there, though, if you will. He said, man, let me actually get it up there again. He said it's Anna's game to lose, which I think we both kind of think like she had a great episode. Then Jason, Liz, Neil, and Sydney. I feel like you got to throw Michelle in there, too. I think Michelle has a legitimate chance.
I think Michelle's right there. I agree.
Nick.
I think there's a lot. Nick can get it done.
I'd say more than half the cast can win after this episode.
Caleb can get it done.
Debbie could totally have that type of arc where she comes back. Alicia could have the comeback arc. Joe could win because if he gets Train, who would vote for him? I think this whole cast can win right now. The only one who can't win is Darnell because he's out of the game.
Yeah, I think we have so many right now. I think it's going to quickly go down to like 2 or 3 people.
I don't know if it'll go down to 2 or 3, but I think we are going to, like, next episode, there's going to be like 5 or 6 people that don't get a confessional, and one of the tribes is going to be completely under-edited, and we're going to be like, oh, okay. So Brawn's not going to have a big play in the end game, or, Beauty's not going to have a big play in the end game. Like, I feel like that's kind of what's going to happen.
Yeah, I hope not. But
Me too. But we can't.
The editing was on point tonight. I love the editing.
The editing was fantastic. They've been really good with their premieres though lately. Since Caramoan, their premieres have been great with editing. Blood vs. Water was great. Cagayan was great. Even San Juan del Sur had great editing. Worlds Apart, and then last season was phenomenal. They're getting it with the premieres because I think like that whole Caramoan shindig just like pissed more than just the fans off.
Well, they have more time to work. They have more time to work with, and that might have a lot to do with it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I mean, I don't have anything. It's 11:10. I'm tired. We should do boot list things. We'll talk about the boot list.
MVP and LVP.
Oh my God, we almost forgot. If anybody made it this far, you're in luck because you get to vote for MVP and LVP. If you didn't make it this far, well, we're gonna get 3 votes for MVP and LVP anyway. MVP. I would say it's either Anna, it's Kyle, or is that it? I can't even think of anybody else. I'm drawing a blank.
I think Neil is up there.
Neil, Liz.
I mean, definitely Liz.
And Shell, I mean, because she's still from New Jersey, so you have to put her in there.
I don't know. I think it's wide open. I think Scott Pollard, you can make an argument for him.
I say this is one where really anybody can be MVP.
Yeah, let's just leave it open. Let's leave and I don't even remember who's on my team. I have a, crazy
Short-term
team.
memory loss. I think right now Phantom Tribe is actually winning because they have 4 brains people. And for the getting first place in the tribe, it makes for each person. So they got 8 points alone from that. We really screwed that one up.
It's early yet, my friend. You got points for the first boot, though. So
I did.
So I'm probably at last. But you know me. I always, I'm an end game player.
End game player. I do think, though, in terms of LVP, it's got to be Alicia. She just did not fit in. I mean, yeah, she survived, but, like, she had a terrible episode, man. There's nobody else who was close. I mean, you could say Ty, but I don't think Ty is in that. I think that they played that up towards the end, but they played him so positively early. I don't think that's really going to be his demise.
Yeah, I think you have to go Alicia, even though she's on my team. I don't really have an alternative.
So is Ty, and there's nobody else.
Okay,
like,
well, I'm taking the hit for LVP, so I'll nominate, Scott, Liz, and Anna.
Yeah, and I'll nominate Kyle, Michelle, and Julia for being cute, and then Phantom Tribe. I mean, I guess would.
If you're voting based on cuteness, she wouldn't even be MVP.
Because Liz has to win every time.
No, or Anna.
Or Anna. As long as the twins are in the game. I mean that as Liz and Anna, not God. Anyway, but yeah, for Phantom Tribe, I guess Neil would be an MVP, maybe. Because you can't really say Debbie, even though she had a good moment. Caleb, not really. He was cool, but I don't know. Aubrey, definitely not.
Okay, well, the floor, it's open. It's we're in voting season, so we'll just let it go. Phil, that's it. Yeah, thank you so much for listening. We're excited to be back. Excited that man, this season kind of snuck up on me. I wasn't that hyped about it. I am hyped now. This was fun.
Yeah, this was fun. Power Ranking Sunday, guys. So
check it out.
Tune in for that one. Yeah, and see you then.